You are listening to Housekeepers Chat by the United States Department of Agriculture from 1927. Disclaimer: this is read from a historic archive document. Do not assume content reflects current scientific knowledge, policies, or practices. This broadcast was aired Thursday, the 17th of February of 1927.
What to serve for breakfast is the title of Aunt Sammy's chat today. Menus planned by United States Bureau of Home Economics.
If someone should ask you which of the 21 meals of the week you enjoy most, what would be your answer? I put this question to a group of friends the other day, and the answer was Sunday morning breakfast.
I like Sunday morning breakfast,
said Mary Alice.
because that's the only breakfast hour when my family can be together. My oldest boy starts to work at 6 on weekdays. My husband thinks his day is ruined if he isn't downtown by 8 o'clock. The 2 younger children must be in school by 9, and the twins, who aren't old enough for kindergarten, always wake up at the most inconvenient times. There is an old saying to the effect that all may eat, but only ladies and gentlemen dine. I often think,
Concluded Mary Alice,
that 6 days of the week we eat, but on Sunday morning we're all ladies and gentlemen, and we dine.
My breakfasts are more difficult to plan than Mary Alice's.
said Mrs. Jane.
This winter, I'm cooking for 1 husband, 5 school children, 2 boarders, and Grandfather Willits. When Grandfather first came to live with us, the only foods he considered suitable for breakfast were buckwheat cakes with ham gravy, coffee, and pie. He thought I was a very inconsiderate daughter-in-law because I didn't serve pie for breakfast. He told me privately that grapefruit was poison and that these homemade breakfast foods were invented so that lazy women could have more time to sleep in the morning. Poor Grandfather. I have to humor him sometimes.
Concluded Mrs. Jane. Compared with the breakfast problems of my 2 friends, mine is comparatively easy. There are 5 members in our family, including school children and a man who must be at the office by 8 o'clock. But we all eat breakfast together, and we all have good health and good appetites. Come to think of it, I believe Sunday morning breakfast is about the most pleasant meal hour of the week at our house. We get up a little later than usual, take time to enjoy our food, and the grown-ups linger over their coffee until the Sunday papers are read. I know that reading a newspaper at the table is considered a terrible breach of etiquette in some families, but maybe my family is not a model one in some respects on Sunday mornings. I set the table with just a little extra care on Sunday mornings. A fresh tablecloth and a dainty bouquet go a long way toward promoting a cheery atmosphere at the table. I think I told you once last fall about the different types of breakfasts. Some food specialists divide breakfast into 4 types as follows: very light, light, medium, and heavy. The very light breakfast includes fruit, a breadstuff, and a beverage. The light breakfast includes fruit, a breadstuff, a beverage, and cereal or eggs or meat. The medium breakfast is made up of fruit, a breadstuff, a beverage, cereal, and eggs or meat. And the heavy breakfast, suitable for very active workers, includes fruit, a breadstuff, a beverage, cereal, eggs or meat, and another hot dish. The very light breakfast, fruit, bread of some sort, and a beverage is suitable only for grown-ups who are doing work which requires little physical exertion. The office worker who rides to and from work may be satisfied with an orange, toast, and coffee for breakfast, but for growing boys and girls and for active workers, the other types are better. Either the light breakfast or the medium breakfast is well adapted to the family group. Fresh fruit, cereal, bread stuff, and milk cocoa usually provide for the children's needs, and the addition of eggs or bacon, or both, or meat with or without another hot dish such as potatoes makes a breakfast sufficient for the most active worker. The grown-ups may have their coffee, but the younger members of the family should have milk, or perhaps cocoa. Water for everybody, of course. I think it is easy for us to get into a rut as far as breakfasts are concerned. And if there is ever a time of day when meals need special attention, it's in the morning. I read somewhere once upon a time that there is more psychological effect in a plate of piping hot muffins served to one's family at 7 a.m. than in a volume of textbooks written on the subject of breakfast. Poorly cooked food, carelessly thrown on the breakfast table, will exert an influence far more lasting than is apparent. As I remarked before, it's very easy to get into a rut when cooking breakfasts, and there are so many good combinations of food that it seems rather sad to limit one's family to fried eggs and toast 7 days a week. I once heard of a man who said he wouldn't think of eating anything but fried eggs and toast for breakfast, but then he was ultra-conservative, a real estate agent, I think. Now I'm going to give you a list of breakfast menus, one for each day of the week. Perhaps you can get an idea or two from my suggestions. Want to write them down? I'll begin with Sunday. By the way, whenever I say beverage, I mean milk for the children and coffee or tea for the grown-ups. Ready now? Sunday, canned or stewed dried figs, spoon bread with bacon, and a beverage. Monday, a ready-to-serve breakfast cereal with raisins and top milk or cream, scrambled eggs, warmed over rolls, and a beverage. Tuesday, fried apples and sausage, graham muffins, beverage. Wednesday, cracked wheat or whole wheat cooked in the steam pressure cooker with top milk or cream. Coddled eggs, hot buttered toast, beverage. I'll tell you how to cook wheat in the pressure cooker after a little. Thursday, applesauce, fried scrapple, toast, beverage. Friday, orange juice, smoked whitefish or herring, cranberry muffins, beverage. Saturday, grapefruit, creamed eggs with dried beef, hot biscuits, and beverage. Enough variety in that list to please most anybody. When you serve raisins with a dry breakfast cereal, use the seedless raisins, wash them, and put them in the oven a few minutes to dry off and soften. Crisp the cereal in the oven, and let each person add the raisins as he wishes to his dish of cereal. Raisins are particularly good with the puffed kinds of cereals. You'll find recipes for scrapple, fried apples, and cranberry muffins in the radio cookbooks. Perhaps I'd better tell you about wheat cooked whole in the steam pressure cooker. I know of at least one inexperienced bride who listens in regularly, and really, she doesn't know a thing about cooking. She's a good friend of mine, too. Wheat cooked in the steam pressure cooker makes an excellent cereal, rich in flavor and food value. Sort the grain, wash it thoroughly, and cover with 1 1/2 times its volume of water. Soak overnight. Add salt, using 3/4 to 1 teaspoon per cup of wheat used. Cook under 20 to 25 pounds pressure for 1 hour, or longer if grains are desired soft. Serve with top milk or cream. The germ and outer layers of the wheat grain are rich in vitamins and minerals, while the rest is such an excellent source of energy for the body that wherever possible, people all over the world use wheat in some form as the mainstay of their diet. That's all I'm going to talk about today. Luella, the girl who copies the names for the cookbook mailing lists, told me I'd better remind you again to print your names, addresses, and box numbers when you write for copies of the free radio cookbook. But I don't think I will. You see, Luella worries a lot when you forget to sign your names, but I don't. I know that if you do not receive your cookbook in 2 or 3 weeks, you'll write to me again, and I love to get your letters.
This broadcast was researched and produced by BreakAway Empire LLC.